Mesopotamian skies. Ancient Babylon and the first star catalogers. If you're here to fall asleep, you're in the right place. We're standing in ancient Babylon. 4,000 years ago. On the roof of a ziggurat. Looking up at stars that humans are seeing clearly for the first time. Recording them. Cataloging them. Beginning astronomy. The Mesopotamians looked at the night sky and invented the science of watching stars. They were the first. Let's begin. Part 1, The Ancient Mesopotamian Sky. Babylon, 2000 to 500 BCE. You are standing on a ziggurat. A massive stepped pyramid in ancient Babylon. The year is approximately 1800 BCE. You have climbed many stairs to reach this high platform. Below you, the city sleeps. Mud brick houses. The Euphrates River reflecting moonlight. Temple complexes. The Great Walls. But you are not here for the city. You are here for the sky. Above you, the night sky of ancient Mesopotamia. No light pollution. No city glow. No electric lights for thousands of years yet. Just pure darkness. And stars. Thousands of stars. More stars than modern people in cities ever see. The Milky Way, a river of light across the sky. Planets bright enough to cast shadows. This is what Babylonian astronomers saw every clear night. This is what they studied. This is what they recorded on clay tablets in cuneiform writing, creating the first astronomical records in human history. The Mesopotamians were not the first to look at stars. Every human culture has looked up. But the Mesopotamians were the first to systematically record what they saw. To track movements over years and decades. To predict future positions. To create mathematical models of celestial mechanics. They invented astronomy as a science. Everything that came after, Greek astronomy, Islamic astronomy, Renaissance astronomy, modern astronomy, built on Mesopotamian foundations. The zodiac. The division of the sky into constellations. The tracking of planets. The prediction of eclipses. All began here. In Babylon. In Ur. In Nineveh. On ziggurat roofs. Why did they do this? Why spend countless hours watching stars? Partly religion. The Mesopotamians believed the gods wrote messages in the sky. Celestial omens predicted the fate of kings, the success of harvests, the outcomes of wars. A priest who could read the stars could advise the king, could warn of danger, could suggest auspicious times for important decisions. But also curiosity. The Mesopotamians noticed patterns. The same stars appearing at the same times each year. The planets moving against the background of fixed stars. The moon's predictable phases. The sun's path shifting through seasons. They wanted to understand, to predict, to find order in apparent chaos. And they succeeded brilliantly. The Babylonian astronomers identified the zodiac, the band of sky where the sun, moon, and planets travel. They divided it into 12 sections. The 12 signs we still use today. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. These aren't just mystical symbols. They were navigational and calendrical tools. They tracked the planets. There are 5 planets visible to naked eye: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. The Mesopotamians knew them all, associated them with gods, tracked their movements across years, recorded their positions, created tables predicting where they would be months or years in the future. They could predict eclipses. This is extraordinary. Eclipses seem random. A solar eclipse happens when the moon passes in front of the sun. How could ancient people predict this? But the Mesopotamians discovered the Saros cycle, a period of 18 years, 11 days, 8 hours after which eclipses repeat. If you record eclipses for decades, you find the pattern. And Mesopotamian astronomers did record them for centuries, and found the pattern. They measured time. The Mesopotamians invented the 60-second minute and 60-minute hour. Why 60? Because it's mathematically useful, divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30. Good for astronomy where you need to divide circles. The Babylonian base 60 system for angles and time is still used today. Every time you check a clock, you're using Mesopotamian mathematics. They created star catalogs, lists of stars with positions and brightnesses. The MUL.APN tablets from around 1000 BCE list dozens of stars and constellations, describe their rising and setting times, track their movements. These are the oldest comprehensive astronomical texts we have. And they did all this without telescopes, without cameras, without computers. Just patient observation night after night, year after year, generation after generation. Priests standing on ziggurats, watching, recording, calculating. Imagine being that priest. It's a cool night in Babylon. The desert air is clean. You've climbed the ziggurat steps carrying your clay tablet and stylus. You settle on the platform. Look up. The stars are so bright they seem close enough to touch. You know many of them by name. You know which are fixed stars that never move relative to each other. You know which are planets, wandering stars, that move slowly against the fixed background. Tonight you're tracking Jupiter. You recorded its position last week. Tonight, you mark where it is now. It has moved slightly eastward against the stars. You note this on your tablet. Someday, after you've recorded enough positions, you or another priest will be able to predict where Jupiter will be months from now. This is your work. This is your contribution to knowledge that will last millennia. The night deepens. More stars appear. You record what you need. The air grows colder. Eventually you'll descend. Sleep. But tomorrow night, if the sky is clear, you'll return. Watch. Record. Continue the work. Let this ancient sky stay with you as you drift into sleep. The Babylonian Stars. The patient work of tracking celestial movements. The birth of astronomy. The foundation of all sky science. Rest now under stars that Babylonian priests watched 4,000 years ago. The same stars, the same movements, the same eternal patterns they discovered. And we still use. What exactly did the Mesopotamian astronomers discover? What knowledge did they pass down to us? First, they discovered that the sky is predictable. This seems obvious now. We know planets orbit the sun in regular paths. We know stars are distant suns that don't actually move much. We know eclipses follow mathematical patterns. But 4,000 years ago, none of this was obvious. The sky could have been chaos. Random. Unpredictable. But the Mesopotamians, through patient observation, discovered it isn't random. The same stars rise at the same time each year. The planets follow predictable paths. The moon's phases cycle every 29.5 days. The sun moves through the zodiac in exactly 1 year. Everything has a pattern if you watch long enough. This was revolutionary. If the sky is predictable, it can be understood. If it can be understood, it can be used. For calendars. For navigation. For agriculture. For timekeeping. Predictability made civilization more efficient. Second, they discovered the zodiac. The zodiac is the band of sky where the sun appears to move throughout the year. Actually, the Earth orbits the sun, but from Earth's perspective, the sun moves against the background stars, completing 1 circuit per year. The Mesopotamians divided this path into 12 equal sections, the 12 signs of the zodiac. Each section is 30 degrees of arcade. The sun spends about 1 month in each section. When we say, the sun is in Aries, we mean the sun appears to be in front of the constellation Aries from Earth's perspective. This division was useful. It gave them a celestial calendar. The sun enters Leo meant midsummer. The sun enters Capricorn meant midwinter. Farmers could plan planting. Priests could schedule festivals. Kings could time campaigns. The moon and planets also travel through the zodiac. Their positions could be noted by which constellation they appeared in. Mars is in Scorpio. Gave a precise location. Records could be compared across years. Third, they discovered the planets move in complex patterns. The 5 visible planets don't move uniformly. Sometimes they move eastward, against the stars. Sometimes they stop. Sometimes they move backward. Retrograde motion. Then forward again. Why? The Mesopotamians didn't know planets orbit the sun. That discovery was thousands of years away. But they recorded the patterns. They created mathematical models that could predict planetary positions even without understanding why they moved as they did. Their models used arithmetic sequences, geometric progressions, sophisticated mathematics developed specifically for astronomy. Some Babylonian planetary predictions were accurate to within a few degrees, remarkable for naked eye observations. Fourth, they discovered how to predict eclipses. Eclipses terrified ancient peoples. The sun or moon darkening without warning seemed like a terrible omen. But Mesopotamian astronomers found the Saros cycle. The Saros is 223 lunar months, about 18 years, 11 days, 8 hours. After one Saros, the Earth, Moon, and Sun return to approximately the same geometric relationship. So eclipses repeat. If there's a solar eclipse today, there will be a very similar one 18 years, 11 days, 8 hours from now. With this knowledge, Babylonian astronomers could predict eclipses years in advance. They kept records spanning centuries, refining their predictions. By 500 BCE, their eclipse predictions were highly accurate. Fifth, they invented mathematical astronomy. Earlier peoples observed the sky, named constellations, noted bright stars. But the Mesopotamians went further. They created numerical models, used mathematics to describe and predict celestial phenomena. They developed systems of numbers and tables. Planetary tables showing positions at regular intervals. Lunar tables tracking the moon's complex motion. Eclipse tables listing past and predicted eclipses. This is mathematical astronomy, using numbers and calculations, not just observation and description. It's the foundation of all modern astronomy. Without Mesopotamian mathematical astronomy, we wouldn't have Ptolemy, Copernicus, Kepler, Newton, Einstein. The entire edifice of astronomical science began on Babylonian ziggurat roofs. Sixth, they passed this knowledge forward. The Mesopotamian astronomical texts were copied, translated, transmitted. When Mesopotamian civilization declined, their astronomical knowledge didn't die. Greek astronomers learned from Babylonian tablets. Islamic astronomers studied Greek works that contained Babylonian discoveries. Renaissance astronomers read Islamic texts. The chain of transmission never broke. The zodiac we use is Mesopotamian. The degree division of circles, 360 degrees, is Mesopotamian. The hour and minute are Mesopotamian. Many constellation names have Mesopotamian origins. The mathematical approach to astronomy is Mesopotamian. We stand on their shoulders. Every time a modern astronomer predicts a planetary position or eclipse, they use techniques descended from Babylonian methods. Every time you check what astrological sign you are, you reference the Mesopotamian zodiac. Every time you tell time, you use Mesopotamian base 60 numbers. 4,000 years ago, priests on ziggurats looked up and began the work of understanding the cosmos. They didn't have technology. They had patience, mathematics, and clear desert skies. They had curiosity about patterns. They had the dedication to record observations for generations. And they created astronomy, the science of the stars, the foundation of cosmology, the beginning of humanity's attempt to understand our place in the universe. Let this knowledge stay with you as you drift into deepest sleep. Babylonian astronomers patient under ancient stars. Clay tablets filled with cuneiform numbers. The slow accumulation of data that revealed the patterns of the cosmos. The birth of a science that would eventually explain everything from planetary orbits to the Big Bang. Rest now under the same stars they watched, moving in the same patterns they discovered. Predictable because they learned to predict them. Understandable because they began the work of understanding. The cosmos turns. The planets wander. The stars will overhead. All in patterns. First discovered in ancient Mesopotamia, on ziggurat roofs, by priests with clay tablets who looked up and saw not chaos but order. Sleep well in the knowledge that humans have been watching the stars for thousands of years, recording them, understanding them, finding patterns in apparent randomness. The work continues. The cosmos remains. The stars remember. And so our night in ancient Babylon ends. 25 minutes on a ziggurat roof, watching stars with Mesopotamian astronomers, learning what they discovered, understanding how they began astronomy. We stood under a sky so dark and clear that stars seemed infinite. No city lights, no pollution, just the cosmos on full display. The Milky Way overhead, planets bright as jewels, thousands of stars and constellations they named, and we still use. We learned that the Mesopotamians weren't just looking. They were recording, tracking, calculating, creating tables and predictions, finding patterns that revealed the clockwork of the heavens. They discovered the zodiac, the Saros eclipse cycle, the wandering of planets, the regularity of celestial motions. They invented mathematical astronomy. They passed their knowledge forward through millennia to us. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, you rest under the same stars. They move in the same patterns. Jupiter still wanders through the zodiac. The moon still cycles through phases. Eclipses still follow the Saros. The cosmos hasn't changed. What changed was human understanding. And that change began in Mesopotamia, on ziggurat roofs, with priests patient enough to watch night after night, year after year, generation after generation, until the patterns revealed themselves. You are small. The cosmos is vast. But 4,000 years ago, humans began the work of understanding that vastness, of finding order in it, of predicting its movements, of placing ourselves within it not as victims of chaos but as observers of pattern. Sleep now under stars ancient Babylonians named. In a cosmos they began to map, following patterns they discovered, using time divisions they invented. The astronomy you learned in school began here, on this ziggurat, in this desert, under this sky. Good night from ancient Mesopotamia, from Babylonian astronomers, from clay tablets filled with cuneiform numbers, from the birth of astronomy, from the first systematic study of the stars. The cosmos wills overhead. The planets wander their paths. The stars maintain their patterns, all exactly as the Mesopotamians first recorded. Rest well, stargazer. The ancient work continues. The sky remembers. You are part of a tradition of watching the heavens that stretches back 4,000 years. All is pattern. All is predictable. All is exactly as it should be. Good night.